So recently I started carving rocks.
Carving rocks?
Yeah, I know. It's just like an artistic hobby.
Okay.
I started out using a Dremel tool. It's kind of like a small handheld electric drill.
Yeah.
A little bit that can grind through the rocks. But then I moved on to soapstone and handheld carving tools.
Okay. I had no idea.
I know. It's not something I advertise.
Yeah.
Like I said, just a hobby. But I love working away at the stones and seeing what comes out of them. Now, I'm not good enough to sculpt something that you'd recognize. So I just see what part of the stone feels like it should be removed and what part should stay.
So, a hobby.
A hobby, for sure. A pleasant little distraction, which is why I can relate to this week's story so well.
Now, we're currently walking down Main Street in the town of Norway, Maine.
Right.
This place is really small town America. It's quaint with its shops and cafes and restaurants along either side of the road.
It is. And our destination is this little white building right here on the corner.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, that's right, Ray. We've come to Maine to join a social group called the Weary Club of Norway. Hello, I'm Jeff Belanger. Welcome to episode 361 of the New England Legends podcast.
And I'm Ray Auger. Thank you for joining us on our mission to chronicle every legend in New England, one story at a time. We can't do it without you, so please subscribe to our podcast because, well, it's free. And reach out to us anytime through our website to tell us about a strange story you think we should check out.
We'll explore the Weary Club of Norway right after this word from our sponsor.
The Weary Club of Norway, Maine. That's a good name.
Right? It's a very New England name.
It doesn't exactly call to you, does it? I mean, who would want to join a weary club?
I get it, but considering the club's been around for 102 years, quite a few people over the decades, the members call themselves the Wearies. This is a place to talk local gossip, to talk about current affairs, spend time with your friends and neighbors, and for a long time, it was a place to whittle.
To whittle.
Whittle.
As in carve up wood for no good reason, whittle?
That's the very same. In fact, at one point, to become a member, you had to prove your whittling prowess by cutting a cedar shaving so thin that it could float on water.
All right. Is that still a rule today?
No, not so much anymore. Now you just kind of show up. There have been thousands of members over the years. President Calvin Coolidge, who was born in Vermont, even had a membership reserved for him, but he never did stop by.
Yet.
Good point. Yet. I guess there's still time. So the other rules to membership are no drinking and no gambling.
Well, then how are these discussions supposed to turn into fist fights?
The old-fashioned way, flaring tempers, I guess. So to witness the birth of this unique social club, let's head back to the year 1922.
It's early September of 1922, and we're standing on the steps of Beale's Tavern in Norway, Maine. A group of local men have gathered to chat. And that's when local hotel manager Bob Seavey brings out a few pieces of cedar for the men to whittle.
The men smile. Then they reach for their pocket knives. And now they're starting to cut up the cedar. The men chat about local and national affairs while they cut up pieces of wood in their hands. It's a nice way to pass the time. Their hands are busy. Their minds are working. They're spending time together. They have such a good time, they agree they should do this again soon.
And that they do. If the weather is bad, they move inside the tavern. If it's nice, they stay outside. But either way, whittling becomes part of the experience.
As you can imagine, sometimes the conversation turns bleak when talks of wars, taxes, and government come up. The men talk about all kinds of ideas in this club. They name their group the Weary Club and claim they are, quote, the makers and dealers of social gossip and Yankee philosophy.
As winter sets in here in Norway, Maine, standing around outside of a tavern isn't going to work. So the group moves the operation into the hotel office of Bob Seavey. The hotel is the perfect place for the Weary Club. The building is centrally located in town. Everyone passes by on their way to somewhere. Out-of-towners come in for a night's lodging, and they bring with them all kinds of outside information and perspective. So there's always something to talk about. And all the while, they keep on whittling.
The meetings are almost daily at this point. Men are always coming and going in the group. It's now fall, 1924, and the Weary Club has just received some devastating news.
What's that?
Hotel manager Bob Seavey has decided to spend the winter in Florida, leaving the group no place to meet.
So Fred Sanborn.
Oh, yeah, he's the editor of the local paper, the Oxford County Advertiser.
Right, that's the guy. He's also one of the most active members of the group. Sanborn searches Norway for an alternate location, and that's when he finds an empty room on the corner of Maine and Cottage Streets in town. And with that, the daily meetings resume.
With their own dedicated room, the club grows in popularity. The first person to arrive in the morning has to sweep up the shavings from yesterday's whittling, and then use the cedar shavings as kindling to start a fire in the stove for the day.
Things are going pretty well for the Weary Club. Someone's always opening the door first thing in the morning, and sometimes the conversations run all day long.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Jeff.
It's about 8:30 in the morning. I think we should head over to the Weary Club, see what they're chatting about.
I see a few people standing in front of the door.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's locked.
Well, these guys look angry that they can't get in.
It's 10 a.m. now, and finally, the guy with the keys shows up. And it's decided. No more keys, no more locks. The door will be unlocked 24/7. It's now 1926, and another big problem has come up for the Weary Club.
Oh, what now?
Well, the Norway National Bank just purchased this entire block. They're going to level the building where the Weary Club meets. Once again, the club is homeless.
And once again, Fred Sanborn comes to the rescue. After talking to the bank, Sanborn purchases the north corner of the bank's property just a block away. All they need now is a roof over their heads, so the Weary Club members get busy raising funds.
They sell memberships, they take donations, and kick in some of their own money, because this group means that much to them. Over the summer, they erect a 1.5-story colonial building on the corner of Maine and Deering Streets.
The building is finished, and the club officially incorporates August 1st, 1926. The Weary Club is back, whittling and chatting about anything that comes up.
Some members sit and read magazines, books, or newspapers. Sometimes they just whittle in silence. Once in a while, they hold an election for club president. Then, they don't get around to holding another election for several years, so that person's stuck with the job.
Men from all walks of life come into the Weary Club. Bank presidents, janitors, retired men, and everything in between come to make this building their clubhouse. The inspiration of the club came from the old-time Cracker Barrel meetings that used to take place in the general stores in town. As the Cracker Barrels and general stores went away, that central meeting place went missing. But not in Norway. They made their own, the Weary Club. And that brings us back to today.
So the Weary Club is still around today. Building still stands here on Main Street with the name Weary Club of Norway, Maine, right across the top. Today they claim about 200 members who pay a one-time $50 fee to join, and they meet once per month formally, though impromptu meetings happen throughout the month.
Now, looking around, it doesn't seem like there's much whittling going on anymore.
No, whittling wasn't really a requirement, just something a lot of the men did early on. Now today, cribbage is more likely the way you're going to occupy your hands while inside. Also, in 2007, they began allowing women to join as well. There's no radios inside the building, no TVs, no computers, and using your cell phone is frowned upon. It's simply a place where people practice the art of conversation.
The art of conversation is sadly getting to be a lost art, considering our kids' generation just text each other shorthand and emojis.
LOL. JK.
Right?
Now, as you might guess, the demographic of the Wearies tends to be older and the retired community, though anyone younger is welcome to join as well. They also host AA meetings, and many members are pretty active in their communities, so I guess it's still a good place for gossip and networking.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Considering the rise in podcasting and live streaming, maybe there's still hope for people having conversations with each other. Conversations connect us. Even if we have different viewpoints, when we talk with each other, we can still find plenty of common ground. And we could use more of that right now.
Plus, there's an old saying that idle hands do the devil's work. I guess if you're in here whittling or playing cribbage, you're not out there posting online or feeling isolated. I think it's funny how interconnected the world has become thanks to the internet, yet we feel more alone than ever. And if you're ever feeling weary of that, it's good to know there's a club for you in Norway, Maine.
Amen to that. And that takes us to After the Legend, where we explore this week's story and sometimes veer off course.
After the Legend's brought to you by our Patreon patrons. We love our patrons. They're the ultimate group of insiders who support us in everything that we do. They help us with all the costs it takes to bring you 2 stories each week. They get early, ad-free access to new episodes, access to our entire archive of stories, discounts on events and products, and bonus episodes and content that no one else gets to see. All for just $3 per month. Please join us there at patreon.com/New England Legends. And also, quick note, if you sign up through the Apple app, they are going to start charging a 30% surcharge. If you want to avoid that, and we recommend you do, just go directly to patreon.com/New England Legends to sign up. And to see some pictures of the Weary Club, click on the link in our episode description or go to our website and click on episode 362.
That's fun. I like that there's a club, a social club. I like social clubs.
Yeah.
We have one in Milford.
Yeah.
It's mostly, it's all men. You can bring your wives once in a while.
Sure.
And I know of one in Boston. I think it's the oldest bunch of Irish guys just sitting around hanging out.
Right.
And women are not allowed
Yeah.
to go. Maybe once a year when they have a big banquet. And I remember it was, who was it? It was a mayor in Boston that was invited to do a keynote speech.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to bring his wife. And they said, well, she can't come. So he didn't come.
Yeah.
I said, no, not going to do that. So I get it, but it can get a little weird. I like hanging out with girls.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I don't want to go to a social club, just hang out with guys.
Yeah. But I mean, different perspectives. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I agree.
yeah, I don't want to just look at dudes all night.
Fair. Totally fair. No, I get it. Well, so there's the Elks, there's the Oddfellows, there's the Masons.
Oh, they're
there's-
all over the place.
There's
Sure,
all
yeah.
kinds of those groups that are like, sort of a society with specific, initiations and things. The Weary Club, I think it's great. And I mean, of course, it took all the way till 2007 to allow women to be members, but now anybody can join.
Yeah,
And
it just sounds fun.
yeah, it was just a place to sit around and chat. And
Everyone needs a place to go.
where
and feel
everybody knows
safe.
your name.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
it. Yeah.
Sorry, it started playing in my head. No, right, and feel safe. And
And not have to drink, because usually that would be a bar.
right.
But this is a place where you don't. That's unexpected.
My wife and I have had this conversation a lot. Like, where do adults go at night when typically you're not working? You
The
finally
senior
have some time.
center.
Wow, you just jumped ahead.
I mean,
No, but where do you go? That closes at like 5. You can't go there. But like if you don't want to drink and go to a bar and pay,
know.
bars are great. Don't get
Sure.
me wrong. I'm not.
but if you're not drinking, you don't want to drink. It's a Tuesday night.
yeah, you're like, I don't feel like drinking tonight. I just want to go hang out somewhere. Where
Coming
do you-
off of a 5-day binge, you need a break.
Exactly. Where do you go? I mean, you can join a bowling league or a dart league, I guess. But then,
Yeah.
But how do you do that without drinking?
You can't.
You can't.
We have a problem.
It's impossible.
Because some people can do it, Jeff.
There's no way you can bowl without beer. It's impossible. It cannot be done.
It was invented so people could drink on a
Right.
Sunday afternoon.
They were drinking and like, what can we do while we drink? I know. Get a ball.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Let's just
Yeah.
knock some pins down. Knock
Darts.
something down.
Darts too. Oh, what's that dart place that doesn't have a bar? Exactly. It doesn't exist.
That's right. I can't think. They don't have like just dart clubs. I mean, they do, but those are within bars.
And they don't have bowling alleys without a bar.
That's so weird.
I'm
So
just saying.
yeah, that's a good question though. Where do you go?
I don't know. I don't know.
You go take an art class or something. Oh, wait
Right.
a minute though. They always have those wine paint nights.
Yeah, it's the wine
So
paint nights.
wine, yeah.
Yeah. And no, I get it. So that's one of the challenges of of being an adult and,
Yeah.
and trying to get out and be social and just be around other people,
Right.
but not necessarily like just drink,
Yeah.
what I mean? Because it does get old after, 34 days in a row.
Social lubricant though.
It is that.
It helps with conversation.
So I was looking something up because I have started carving rocks, truly. And it's really nice.
Have you made anything that resembles anything?
No, it's abstract.
You made a rock out of a rock.
Abstract. I'm putting up air quotes right now. It's abstract. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a rock before. It's still a rock.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was watching a movie. What movie was it? I can't remember, but these thugs were in a car and one was whittling.
Yeah.
It was, what are you doing? Whittling. Yeah. Well, what's it going to turn into? Smaller stick. I'm whittling a stick. What's it going to be? A smaller stick.
Right.
It was fun.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. And there's no point to it. So when I started the soapstone, especially because it's so soft, you can take these tools and you can just dig away at it.
Yeah.
And you just sort of follow whatever contours feel right.
Yeah.
And I love that. I mean, I'm not good enough to be like, oh, make it look like a flower. Oh, sure. Good luck. Impossible. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Michelangelo's David. Yeah, no way. Right. I mean, but I love that it's sort of like I'll put on music and just busy my hands and like all of a sudden an hour will disappear.
Really? You have an hour that you can just waste?
I need to start taking these hours
know, right?
because I'm not doing enough. So I was looking this up and there's a group, they call it wood carving and whittling for physical and mental health. The physical health, I'm not sure I'm building up much muscle doing, I'll tell you that. But they're treating people with ADHD and PTSD and other things. And
It calm the mind.
well, right. So you're busy, right?
Yeah.
So your hands are very busy. and you're doing something productive. You're whittling, you're just making a smaller stick,
Yeah.
right? Or you're carving rocks, or you're doing whatever, and you're just working away at it. And your hands are busy, and your mind is sort of like it's zen. Like it's tough to think about troubles and tribulations.
Well, you know what they say: idle hands are the devil's workshop.
That's what, yeah. So if you busy them, suddenly like an hour disappears, and I love it. I really enjoy it.
That's awesome.
But I'm also a very social creature.
Right.
So if I could go somewhere and be like, hey, we're just going to carve rocks, and who cares what they look like? I don't even want anyone to see them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's I'm not good. It's not anything good.
Yeah.
I made a worry stone for my daughter where you can just sort of like rub it.
Sure, but it's soft, probably, right?
Yeah,
And
it's very
smooth
soft, and yeah. So that was it. And so I think it unlocks like a different part of my brain that I don't use that much.
there you go.
And it's calming. And I went, oh, this is really nice. So
And these people were able to sit together,
Right.
talk about differences that they have,
Yeah.
but no fistfights.
and they all had
that we know of.
knives.
And they all had knives. Oh my gosh! Yeah, you can't talk about. Let's talk about politics today.
Whoa,
Wait a minute.
we're all armed with a knife.
Let's talk about what we watched on TV last night.
What do
when
you-
I was a little older?
What are you whittling, Ray? That's pretty pointy. Now I got two weapons.
Yeah, you getting my point now?
I got a spear and a knife. And I don't like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So no, I maybe that did keep things calm, is that everyone was armed in this whittling club. You know?
Right, that was the threat.
Yeah. So I got a lot of this information from an old 1940s newspaper article because they had just celebrated 25 years. Now, if anyone who's paying attention will say, "Hey, you're saying the group's 102 years old." It's not. Yes, they incorporated in 1926. I get it. Officially, I guess they're 98 years old. But we found in the newspaper they'd been gathering for a few years before that.
Right,
so
right.
4 years before that.
Unofficially,
Yeah.
a lot longer.
Unofficially 102 years, officially 98, I guess, as their own building and their own.
When do you celebrate? Oh, you do two celebrations.
That's what
the
I would
unofficial and the official.
Right. That's exactly what I would
Always
do.
need a reason to celebrate.
But that's where we got a lot of those old details that things. I imagine there's a lock on the door today. I don't, But back then they were just so mad they couldn't get in the morning. They're like, okay, no more locks.
Well, I mean, what is there to steal?
Nothing.
Wood?
Nothing. Yeah, there was just wood shavings,
Yeah.
and the article went on and on about how there was one guy that could slice it so thin and so long it wouldn't break. Like that was his
really?
his gift.
Yeah.
He could make the longest shaving of cedar and just keep it going.
How far
and
did that
going
get
and
him
going.
in life?
I don't know, but like,
Can you imagine going to a job interview?
Right.
Well, what are some of your skills?
see my knife? See this piece of cedar? Watch this.
Oh, you're hired as bank manager.
That is amazing. No, but that was it. It was just something. It took concentration, took focus,
Yeah.
and your hands are busy, and you're doing something for no other reason than to just whittle, right? And sometimes that's important.
I whittled a guitar once, now that I think about it. Boy Scout camp.
Okay,
We all whittled instruments
Yeah.
and then did a lip sync one night.
and you
And
whittle.
I did a guitar, and I want to say it was pretty decent, halfway decent for a 12-year-old.
All right, well, not bad.
But
So
I've spent some time whittling.
so you get it, and I know it sounds silly and like some old man thing, but guess what? Try it.
Yeah.
Go grab a stick in your yard, grab a pocket knife. You probably got one somewhere.
Yeah.
And just sit down somewhere and start whittling. I mean,
Yep.
give it a whirl.
Give it a whittle. Give it a whirl.
Give it a whittle, and then invite others. Start talking.
Put the knives down, though, if it gets serious.
Right.
You got to know when to put the knife
When
down.
it veers into politics, time to put the knives down.
All right, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts because we need you in our community. Plus, our podcast is free. So please sign up, share your favorite episodes on social media, and tell your friends about us. That's how we grow and find new stories. Also, join our New England Legends Facebook group and check out our free New England Legends app on your smartphone.
We'd like to thank our sponsors. Thank you to our Patreon patrons. And our theme music is by John Judd.
Until next time, remember,
The Bazaar is closer than you think.